Hello everyone, it's Larry from Flying Out Comics again, back with another installment of the Men's Adventures 25, the conservation effort. As you remember from the previous videos, all of the pages were completely split and separated on the wraps. The process was to disassemble the book and de-acidify it, which has been done now, and then using Tengoju paper to reattach all of the wraps, which was a very large job. These videos may appear close together, however, I can tell you safely that there were several days and lots of hours going into this, and it is definitely not for the adventurous. I don't know that I want to do this again. But every single one of these wraps was split. So they have been rejoined. I'll show one here. I gotta be very careful. These pages are still extremely brittle, but they have been rejoined using Tengoju paper and the standard accepted methods for CGC. But as you can see, they're a little bit lighter as well. They have been de-acidified, and all of them are here. We're getting ready for the reassembly process. So I'm quite pleased with the results. I hope you are, and we'll get the book back together. It will go into the humidity tank for a little bit to let the pages be a little bit more pliable. The staples have been degaussed and to remove any rust. It will reassert everything, and then we will again humidify it one more time and then put it into the press probably several times until we get a nice smooth finish, and then I'll come back to you with the finished product. Method of Tengoju paper and wheat paste. This is an accepted practice by CGC for conserved books. We're getting ready for the reassembly process. So first thing I want to do is to make sure that all the pages are in the correct order and there's no mistakes. So we're going to start. A couple people have asked me, what do I use when checking these books? I use readallcomics.com. Some of your older EC books, pre-code books, are all there. So today we have one that we're going to go through each and every page to make sure everything is correct. Be patient with me, folks. I'm trying not to bend the book or do anything detrimental to it. So far, everything looks good. And once we have that, I am going to align everything and start the reassembly process. Now, people have different methods of reassembling the books, and I'm not going to fault any of those. To each their own. My particular method is, especially when I have a book like this, is that if the one of the interior pages has a good staple hole. Now this particular book, that was very difficult because, as you know, the entire book was in basically loose leaf form. We had to reassemble the entire book. So far I'm happy with what I'm seeing on the assembly part. So once we do that, I'm going to, I do recall that there is one page in here that has the holes very much intact. I've removed the staples. I checked them to see if they needed to be degaussed, and they really didn't. The staples were very, very dry. So I was happy to find no rust. Okay, and we've made it all the way to the end. well, actually I should say all the way to the middle wrap. So now we'll check the other way. I'm pretty sure I got all the pages assembled correctly. And if I didn't, I'm in deep, deep trouble. But I think everything is looking good. So, all right, I'm gonna go and forego any more of this. Now, as I said, we are going to take these books, and one method that I like, and we use it today, is that which Dr. Paul at Liberty Hill Comics just came out today with a wonderful video. It was very good timing for me. I've assembled these, but I wanted to see how others do it. Now in this particular book, as I said, I am going to find a page in here that still has good staple holes. Now, I'll try to zoom in a little bit on this book. Let's see if we can scoot this into the center of the frame and hopefully zoom in a little bit better. Now, I'm going to be very careful with this because even though this page has been repaired, it's almost impossible to remove brittleness. So I'm going to be very gentle with these pages as I go. Some of them have already split in places, but they're minor splits, so I'm going to forego doing more repairs. Continue through here till we find a good page. Usually down in the middle wraps, the weak points are usually the cover and the first wrap, and the center wrap, or the end wrap where the staples are folded into the book. Now it looks like we're getting closer to a good page. This one doesn't look too bad. The top staple in all the books was completely torn out, so I'm really going to start with the lower staple. Okay, I think I found my page right here. Now, looking at this, I'll hold it up to the camera. This looks like one of the only pages that actually has a good set of holes. So I think we're gonna go with this. The top staple on all of these pages is nothing but a hole where the staple used to go. Now, every one of these spines has been filled with Tengoju paper, and the center wrap, I took the extra step of putting in an extra layer of reinforced Tengoju paper. So what we'll do with this wrap is we'll use it as an alignment vehicle for the cover, which is getting pretty close. Also, it looks, I'm going to set this page aside. And on the last page, or I should say the first wrap, the bottom staples look perfect actually. So these two pages are going to be aligned just fine, and I still have a good alignment on the cover. So with that, I'll get some tools and we are going to align everything even more. Okay, everybody, we're back. What we're going to do now is take the good pages, and I'm going to use the best one here, which I actually think is going to be the first wrap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the cover over, and I'm going to align the cover, and then I'll take the first wrap here, and we're going to center it up on everything as best we can. Now the cover is always a little bit larger than the book was in the beginning. So we want to make sure everything lines up just right. Especially on the bottom pages. So everything looks good here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small pin and I'm going to gently pierce these bottom holes where the original holes were exactly. And we're going to align these with the cover. I'm going to set that aside for a moment. Now the cover, fortunately, has a perfect set of staple holes. Okay. So now that that's been done, we can align things a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wraps and I'm going to knock them together like you used to when you're stacking papers in grade school. So line everything up as best we can. All right, and for the moment, I'll set this aside. I'm going to take the cover and set it aside since that's going to act as a master. And now that I have a good alignment with all of these, I can stack them so everything lines up just right. And I am going to take and now I'm going to push this pin all the way through the entire stack. Okay, so now we have a lock on those bottom staples. Now looking at the cover, we'll take a peek at the top staples before we go further. Now the holes are a little bit more skewed on this one, but not something that's abnormal or something we can't work with. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and align everything. Now, what I like to do is I'll take this pin, I'll run it through the first hole. And without moving the papers underneath, I will, here we go. Without moving the papers underneath, I will find the exact same hole and we use that to align everything on this book. All right, so I'm going to force this down into the mat, and now we can take and align everything a little bit better. Sorry, I'm getting my head in the way here. I'm going to pull this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so what I think I am going to do in this particular case, just to make sure maintain everything, we're going to put the bottom staple in first. So I'm going to gently push the second pin in to make sure we're still in a good alignment. Rotate this 180 degrees. And I can actually see underneath to make sure I don't miss, because that would be terrible if I did that. Okay. So the rest of the alignment looks really good. And there we go. Yep, perfect. I know you can't see this on camera, but the holes are lined up perfectly. All right. for now. I'm going to rotate this back. Now, from the first video, if you actually just said the staple removal video, we saved the two staples, top staple and the bottom staple. Now, I kept these in order. I have straightened these staples, so they should go right in without doing any damage to the paper. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove these push pins, and I'll apply pressure to the paper, and we are going to insert the staple right back into the original holes, so he says. Let's make sure. It looks pretty close. Looks like I may have to fold these inwards just a hair so everything aligns. Yeah, it looks like I may have emphasized straightening my staples. Okay, so far so good. Looks good here. Looks good. I can feel everything going just fine. Now I'm going to get underneath all of the wraps here, and we're going to make sure everything goes through perfectly. Now, this is always the hard part, making sure, because I don't want to make additional holes. Looks like we get a little bit crooked there, so almost there. I can feel the one staple edge. There we go. There we go. We're all the way through now. So now I'm going to turn this book over. The staple looks beautiful. It's nice and tight. Now force the paper down. There we go. Now I'm not going to fold the staple all the way over and to the finish point just yet. I'm just going to bend it so we can work with the other staple. And with that said, I'm going to use my handy staple removal tool that we got from Rick Morgan at Immaculate Comics. And if you haven't visited Rick's site, he has all the gadgets you could possibly want for reassembling and disassembling comics and cleaning them. He is a consummate professional. He is a wonderful guy to talk to. I enjoy his videos very, very much. All right, so everything is looking good so far. I think I lied. I think I'm going to go ahead and lock the staple in place. That way we can just move on to the other wraps. Okay, I'm going to pause a moment. Okay, everybody, sorry about that short pause. I've taken the liberty of turning the book over and around, and now we're going to work on this top staple. I've checked everything and all the alignments are good. So now we're going to do the same process. I'm going to get my hand underneath this and make sure we can push this staple all the way through. There's one, there's two. Perfect. Okay, and once again, yep, right in the correct holes. That's always a good thing here. Like I said, this book was incredibly difficult with the page separations. So now we're going to take and fold this top staple in and lock it down. And if you're not familiar, this little invention is the staple removal tool, and it comes with a couple of marks on it. It's wonderful for aligning your staples and re-straightening your staples. It's set for golden age, modern. I'm very happy. This is an incredible tool. A lot of people have their own tools. I am a supporter of Immaculate Comics channel. I've talked to Rick on many occasions, collaborated on a couple of ideas, especially with the blue light box, which I forgot to mention in previous videos. I'll try to include a picture of it. I have a blue LED box, and once the paper is cleaned and treated, it is lightened in the box, and that's a whole nother video. So, okay, we now have reassembled the book. The next thing will be the folding and pressing of the book. So we'll save that for the next video. Thanks for watching. Hello again, everybody. We're back, and the Men's Adventures 25 has now been reassembled. Again, this was a 6.0 from CGC. When the slab was opened, it was given a 2.0 because all the pages fell out. So due to the reassembly, hopefully everything will go well. I'm going to submit this to CGC for a conserved grade. Everything looks nice. Pages are a little bit lightened, and everything has been rebound and put together. Very happy with the results. I have no idea what grade this will come back at because of the extensiveness of the binding. Here's the center wrap. It looks beautiful. So I will leave you with this little tidbit, and I'm very pleased with everything. So we'll see what it comes back at, and I'll do a follow-up video. I want to thank Dr. Paul at Liberty Hill Comics again, and Rick Morgan at Immaculate Comics, both of whom provided great information, and I appreciate all their work. And until next time, we'll see you soon.